Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 19 on OData servers. In this session, I'm going to explain a concept called exception handling. As a developer, we have used this terminology or methodology in our web program, report, function, module, or object-oriented programming. Many places we have used it. So the same thing we are going to use in OData service also. It's actually a simple one in OData servers. Suppose from the backend, I want to give some information to the UI perspective. It may be a success message or information or a warning or an error. Okay. So I need to do a specific way or I have methods to do that. Okay. So I don't want to classify everything as an exception handling. Probably I want to send a success message also. Normally how UI understand the success message is with the help of status code. Request status code could be 201 created or 200 success, whatever it is. Along with that, business is expecting some success message from the backend. Yes, I have to send that as well. Okay. So if you want to send a message, irrespective of the message type, I'm going to use this concept. Okay. So it's not only exception handling. If you want to send a message to a UI, additional message, I am saying, if you want to send additional information to a UI, it may be any type of message. We can go ahead with this concept. We can use this particular methodology, I can say. Okay. So it's not only we are sending only the error message. It's not like that. Whatever message you want to send to UI, please proceed with this process. Okay. So let's see. I'll explain with slides. Then we'll go to the system. So this is the flow which you are aware of any project or data project. It could be a UI friend and you have a OData servers and you have a database. Depends on the UI, you are going to either fetch the information or you're going to update the information to the database table. If something happens in the middle, so any scenarios, if something happens, I need to give a proper message to the UI friend, then that needs to be coming in the place of OData service. So raise an exception. So it's a common terminology how to handle exception having OData service. So that is the reason I'm going with very like technical terms over here. But if you want to send a message, kind of a warning message also, we are going to use the same process. Okay. So let's see how we can do that one. And the new terminology, or you already aware of it, is message container. If OData service, we have terminologies like entity, entity type, entity set, association, deep entity. The same way we have a concept called message container. We are trying to use this methodology to make some messages, and we are going to send the message to the UI application. Okay. Message container is in the form of an interface, and there is an interface. It has its own methods. Depends on your scenario, we can choose which method is relevant, and with the help of that particular method, we are going to send the information to the UI application. Okay. And here technically we are going to test it in our gateway SAP client. And this is the interface. Always the object start with IWBEP in the gateway, and the interface name is if message container. And this message container has several methods, and few I picked it. Add message from BAPI, add message text only. Okay. So I will show you what are the methods are available in the F4 help in the system. So we are going to just try to make use of any one of the method, depends on your need. And some prerequisites before getting into the system. The first one is a message class. You need one standard or custom message class, because the previous slide I have showed you a few methods. In that, few methods needs a message class as a mandatory parameter. So you need a message class. Okay. And one of the method, it doesn't require a message class. So it's like you can hard code the value, hard code your message, and you can send it to the UI. So message class is required, depends on which method you are going to use. Next one is place to display the message based on the user UI request. I'm talking about in the SAP gateway client level. That the terminology is same in the UI level as well. So the SAP gateway, we have the two places we are able to see the response from the backend. One is called a response header. Another one is called a response body. I will show you the system as well. So response header has the details about what is the response code of the UI request. It may be a created, bad request, or some 500. The codes are coming as a number like 201 created, 200, 404, 500, different response code, and a few informations are available in the particular response header. We have an option to pop up our message or send a message to the response header level one. Another one, response body. Normally, if you use a get entity request, you will get all the details in that particular place, right? And if you do any update and delete, normally it says no content available kind of message, you will get it. So that place is called a response body. So if the UI people or UI developer request a message in a response header or response body, based on that we have to use some particular variables or a flag, I can say, or a parameters to generate the value, generate the message either in a header or a body. Okay, so designing a message, it's same for both response header or response body, but because we have to use some parameter or some exception class to generate the message either in a header or body of the response. Okay, and then single and multiple messages also possible. The entire scenario, if you want to pass only one message, yes. If you want to pass more than one message, that is also possible. Both the places, request response header also multiple messages possible, body also multiple messages possible. And response status code changes, exactly. And if you add a message in a response header, it doesn't change, it doesn't affect the response code. But if you change or if you pass a message, kind of error message, especially if you pass an error message in the response body, that will affect your response code. Okay, even though if it is a 201 you're expecting, but it's going to be a 500 because in a response body there is an error message, automatically response code will change. But if you send the error message in the response header, but response code, it would be changed. Okay, it won't affect anything if you send any even error message in the response header. So these are just a reference for you. And then, okay, we are talking about response header, little technical details. So if I want to pop up a message to a response header, invalid material number, this particular field is empty, whatever it is, or an information message. Okay, so what are the things to be noted before getting into the system? First one is we need a message container reference and methods. That's what I showed you, right? The interface, if message container reference and methods we need, meaning you have to create an object reference, object variable for this interface. And there is a method which gives a reference variable, means reference of this particular interface. Technically create the object for it. Okay, so create the object. That object reference is coming by a method which is going to be used in this particular class. And the methods I have showed you 2 or 3 slides back, those methods we are going to use it, we need it. Another one is, if you want your message, the messages are ready, it may be a single or multiple messages, the messages are ready, then in the particular method we have the method, right? Add message, add message from BAPI, those things. So in that method there is a parameter called iv add to a response header. Okay, if you say abap true, then this message is going to be pop up in your response header. If it is empty, it is an optional parameter. So if it's not used, if it is empty, or if it is above false, then the message is not going to be populated in the response header. You won't get any syntax error, okay, because it's optional. So if you want to make your message in the response header, keep this flag as active. And these are the methods which I'm going to use probably in this session. Add message from BAPI, add messages from BAPI, add message text only. Very simple. Add message is going to be used to populate one particular message. Single message is able to populate in the header level. Okay, add message from BAPI. So this doesn't, okay, this one is, it doesn't have any structures way of message populating, so you can pass whatever message you want. And add message from BAPI. This method has a parameter referred by BAPI read to RE2, BAPI return to. There is a structure, very popular structure, BAPI RET2. It has what is the message type, what is the message number, what is the message, what is the message ID, so many things, right? So that is one of the parameter for this message from BAPI. This is also able to populate only one message, okay, but it has different fields actually. 4 or 5 fields, I think 10 to 12 fields BAPI return structure, but kind of work area, it can pass only one message with multiple fields. And this you can able to see the difference is, yes, add message, add messages, right? So add messages from BAPI, same BAPI return to structure, but now it acts as a table type, so you are able to send multiple messages to the response header, okay? And these three methods required a message class, okay? And add message text only, this doesn't require any message class. I want to populate a message, I don't have a message class, then use this method, add message text only. All these four methods has a parameter of response header, okay? If you want, use it, response header equal to true. So this is for response header. Response body, simple. So when the response body get a message is nothing but whenever is not happening properly in the backend. Okay, a simple example, I raised an exception. Okay, with some validation, I raised one exception from the backend. Automatically, this affect your response body. So without any message, just simply say response raise exception type exception class. That's it. You don't want to pass any message. Automatically, your SAP gateway client, if you test it, it will go to the 500 or 400, depends on the what do you call exception class. The response code also getting changed to 500 or 400, and automatically you will get some kind of this is a backend, there is some error, refer this SAP note, lot of informations are coming, okay? Along with that, if you want to pass a message, detailed message, what happened in the backend, yes, you have an option to pass a message as well, okay? So when the response bot, because you don't have any parameter kind of to populate a message in the response body. Response header, yes, there is a parameter, but response body, no. So just to raise an exception, you will get the information. You will get the 500 message or 400 message in your response header, as well as body will get the information on it, what happened. And raise exception type exception class. So this is a syntax, and I'm going to use one of the class as BUSA exception, and I have one more class. If I use that class, it automatically change my response code as well. I will show you that, okay? So this is a way to populate a message to the response body. So now you have an idea about message, how to pass a message irrespective of message type, and where to pass a message, either response header or response body. And depends on that, we have to write the code. And most preferably, it depends on the different UI developers. So I have used mostly with the response header, okay? So even though if it is an error message, they preferred, I'm not sure what comfort from the UI side, but they prefer response header to pass any error messages, anything happen from the backend, please pass a message to the response header level. Okay, so that's it, I believe. Yep. Okay, let me take you to the system. So here, this is my system. I have created one OData project with few properties, few fields on it. It has its own entity and entity set. And here I'm going to show you how to pop up or pass a message to the UI application. And I'm not going to use any scenarios. It's going to be a direct, only the how to pop up a message. So depends on your need, you can make use of that. Okay. So this project has fields of material information and all the 5 fields. I'm not going to validate anything because I need some method to be triggered. I'm going to use my get entity set method. It is same for any method like create entity, update entity, deep entity, or whatever method we like get stream. Okay, wherever you want to pop up, wherever you want to send a message, the concept is same. Okay, so and I have a message class, custom message class. It's This is the one, and it has one message like invalid data and position number 1. Okay, and let me open my gateway service also. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. Okay, let me open it from the beginning. Okay, from here, let me go to my gateway service, SAP gateway client, and the entity set is only one, material set. And if I click execute, it's a basic one, it's executed. And this is called response header. This area is called response header, and this area is response body. And you were able to see the status code. Now it's 200 with green, so everything is fine from the backend. And if you want to pass a message to the response header as per UI request, and there is one new line will be added called SAP message, and whatever message you are sending, it's in the XML format. So that is going to be added as a new line in the header. Currently there is no line called SAP message. So there is no line as SAP server, SAP preference kind of, but there is no SAP message. Okay, so this is the place where if you want to populate anything on response header, and response body is over here. So if you want to populate any message in the response body, we have to raise an exception from our backend side. Okay, and whatever message you are sending in SAP in the response header, it won't affect your response code. Even though if you send an error message, still the code says 200. So from the UI perspective, they will find if there are any SAP message is coming from the response header. If yes, they will act accordingly. Okay, they will decide, okay, this is an error, this is a warning. Anyway, we are sending the type of the message as well. Okay, this is a way which works if it is a response header. If it is a response body is going to be the content from the backend. So if the content is not correct, if you raise an exception, obviously the content has not a in the correct way. So something has happened in the backend. So if the exception raised, automatically body will change, and based on that your status code also change. Okay, depends on the exception class, the status code might be 400, might be 500, it depends. Okay, I will show you the both, how the response code is getting changed based on your exception class. Okay, so if it is a message in the body, automatically response code change. If the message in the header, there is no change in your response code. So it's a mutual understanding between the backend and UI developer. So it's very simple. Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to populate a message in the response header. So for that, let me go to my class, artifacts, go to DPC extension, and I redefined the get entity set method also. So material get entity set, I redefined it. Okay, but there is no code so far. Let me have a code over here. So for that, I already mentioned the new methodology or concept we are going to use is message container. I need a object for that message container, msg container type ref2. Excuse me. IWVEP, and the interface which I mentioned, if message interface. Yeah, this is the one. So control space bar, you will get it. Okay, and I need the reference as well, right? So there is a method for that. Let me get the reference. So reference is nothing but create object. So we need a reference, right, to access all the methods or properties of the interface or a class, whatever we need a reference for it, object reference. So that is actually getting from a method called get message container. So that is nothing but IWBEP, and most of the time we use this interface MGW conversion, MGW conversion, control space bar. Yeah, service runtime. Okay, and the method would be get message container. Yeah, this is the one. So this will give the object reference. So almost we are done. Once you get the reference, you can play around. Now I'm going to call one of the method which I mentioned, add message type or message from BAPI. With the help of that, I'm going to just pass a message to my UI. So let me go to Control F6, ABAP object patterns, and here object is object message container, and this is the class, means interface, because it has the methods, right? Interface, whatever you have used over here, and go to F4. You have a lot of messages, whatever I mentioned. More than that you have over here. I mentioned add message, it's add an error message, add message from BAPI, add one message of BAPI written as a message type or the return type, and message text only, add an error message without a corresponding message, it doesn't require any message class. And here add messages from BAPI, so here add messages the same return type BAPI read to. So you have a few more, but this 4 is normally it's going to fulfill our requirement. So I am going to use add message. So this is the method which I am looking for, and your message type is error, and your message ID is your message class. So this is a message class, and your message number 000, and message version 1, the position 1. So here I'm saying, so here everything is hard coded, I'm doing it, but in real time you just pass the details whichever is required. So I don't want anything else except one parameter, response header, because this message I want to be populated in response header level. So let me make this option as true. Okay, that's it. Activate, and if you go and execute your SAP gateway client, expecting this message should come in the SAP response header. Okay, so this is a direct straightforward message, and the same thing you can utilize based on your conditions. Okay, SAP gateway client, let me execute again. So here you have the SAP message and the notification over here. It shows very clearly what is, one second, yeah, what is the message class, message number, and what is the message. Message is invalid data material 1. Okay, so that way it works. And if you double click, it's open in a notepad, and sometimes it open in your XML format as well. Here it's open in a notepad. So this is the message which clearly mentioned. Okay, and the severity is also error. I just mentioned E, so here it's error. So now UI developer can decide how to proceed further. If a response header has a message, SAP message, backend message with the severity error, so what will happen? Okay, so that is their own part. So this is a way we have to populate a message in response header. Okay, and if you want to change the message type from error to info or error to success, like now the change, the severities also gets changed. Execute it again, double click to see the entire message. So here you can see the severity is info. Okay, same thing for success. So even the 200 is not enough, user or the UI required some more additional message along with your success, like response 200, you can make use of this message options. Double click, so it's a success. So I didn't change the message, it's a same message I'm using it, so it depends on it, you can change the message as per your need. So this is one of the way to pop up a message in the response header, and the same thing I'm going to use with a different method. Go to control F6, web object patterns. So here I'm going to use the same one, add message from BAPI, this one. Just double click, enter. So here either you can have this or you can comment it. What happens is SAP message in the response header capable of holding more than one message. Okay, so I'm going to keep this open, I'm not going to comment this. I will show you how does the response reflect in your SAP message. So along with that, I'm going to pop up a message. Normally we use only one, not both the ones. Suppose in some criteria we want to carry more messages in different places, then it works. Return type BAPI-RED2. So I need a kind of work area that needs to be filled. Let me fill it first. bappy return. I need ID z message message class. Okay, and then bappy return number. Let me have a different one. Oops. Okay, and the type is going to be kind of error. Okay, and I'm going to pass this bappy return. And one more thing is the header to be enabled, response header, true. And this is a mandatory parameter, message target, you can pass in is empty. Okay, and I need one more message to be created in my message class. Okay, change it. Material does not exist in the plant. Okay, 001. Okay, now go to my gateway and execute it. Okay, it's done. It's again you have SAP message. So now it's a SAP message. Oh, sorry. Do I activate it? Oh, sorry. I didn't activate it. 1 second. Yeah, because I saw the previous message. So yeah, activate. Go here. Execute it again. Yes, material code does not exist. So it holds more than one message. That's what I mentioned. The first one is over here, material does not exist in the plant, severity is error, and target is empty, right? And then the another message is going to be here. So there's a first message saying this is from the detail one. Then error is the severity is error, and 1 second. Material does not exist, and it holds the other message as well, invalid data message 00000. Okay, so your SAP message in the response header can able to access or hold more than one messages. Okay, so depends on your need, you can make use of this. And finally, I'm going to use a method called bappy messages from bappy. So let me command this. So that is going to be act as a internal table. It's a body of an internal table. So let me have that also. So IT bappy return type table of bappy return 2. Okay. So it's simple. Let me have more than one method. Sorry, let me have more than one data. So this is the one, and append to be bappy return to IT bappy return. I should enable that font. Okay, let me do that. Okay. So then copy this. Currently I have two messages only, so let me go the both ones. First one is 000, another one is 001. Okay, we are done. make sure you're using the clear as well. And here I need messages, or you can go and pick from your list. This one, add messages from BAPI. Done. Continue. Okay. So here I'm going to pass the internal table BAPI return. I commented all the above ones. So only this is going to be enabled, and use the option header. True. Back toward it. Okay, now go to SAP clients, execute. Okay, again you have SAP message. Now just double click. So you will get the first one, invalid data, and the severity is error, and the second one is material does not exist, and the severity is error. Okay, so these two messages are coming from messages from BAPI. So more than one message is coming from backend system and is populated in your response header, the name of SAP message. Okay, so almost we used three different methods to pop up a message in the response header. The last one would be, one second, yeah, the last one would be only text without my message class. F4, message text only. So it have message type and then text. So I can say error only messages, simply. Okay, so nothing else. As usual, enable the flag and execute it. So now I have three messages because two is from BAPI, one is from message text only. Let's see how it is getting populated over here. Executed, double click. So this is the message, only messages. It's actually coming from, which is the latest one, and this is from text only method, and this is from BAPI messages from BAPI method, invalid data, and severity, and this is also from material does not exist, also from messages from BAPI method. So three messages altogether here. Okay, so this is for response header, and we'll see how to do a response body. So that is very simple. Response body, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to populate a message because I want to show you how it actually behaves if you raise an exception in the backend. So let me comment all. Okay, so there is no message in my program. There is no message. Only append is there. There is the methods. Everything is commented. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise an exception here, just a hard coded one. So raise exception type, and you have to use any of the exception classes over here. So CX, MGW. Okay, either BUS or BTC, whatever it is. Okay, so let me go with BTC exception. So here, no messages. I'm raising an exception from my backend. So then go to SAP Gateway Client and execute it. Done. Okay, it's the status code got changed to 500 and some internal server error happened. So this is a basic idea of you, like in the backend, if you raise an exception, automatically it changes your status code with the status reason. Okay, so now along with this, I want to pop up a message. So I need to go with some other exception class because this doesn't have an option to pop up a message. So what I'm going to do is I have one more exception class, that is BUSI exception class. Okay, let's see how it behaves. The status code will get changed. Now it's 500. Execute. So show 400 and bad request. So an exception was raised. So this has a very proper information what happened. So an exception was raised in the sense, so in a backend there was some exception, it's got raised over there. So along with that, if you want to pass a message, a custom message, then we are going to make use of the messages whatever we have used so far. Okay, so nothing big deal, just enable it. That's it. It will automatically populate in your body. So I'm enabling only one message, like only messages. Now go here and execute, and your message comes here, only messages. Got it? So instead of the exception raised, you get a proper message to the UI what happened. Okay, only messages. And if you want other messages also, for example, I want a more like WAPI also, like enable this, and now I will get 3 messages. I'm sorry. Okay, so 2 from WAPI, 1 from message text only. So normally we won't do these different methods in a simple in a same method. So just for your reference, and execute. So you will get invalid data, and you will get material does not exist in the plant, and you will get only messages. So just use any one method based on your need. Okay, but technically this exception has one of the parameter to pass the message header. I will show you that also. So the idea is you don't want to explicitly pass, but let's see. Control F6. BAB objects pattern and raise an exception. So the exception is this one, BUSI, and enter. So here you will get a parameter. So it's optional, it's not mandatory, but you can make use of this also. So object message container. That's it. Okay, let me comment this. So the output is same. There is no change in your output. It's going to be the same status code. It's going to be the same method. Messages in your SAP gateway client. Execute. Executed nothing. It's same. Okay. So by default it just takes. But if you want technically, if you want to add also, you can pass a message to one of the parameter of your exception class. Okay, so hope this might be useful for you, how to populate a message from the backend either in a response header or in a response body. Okay, so just play around, it's very simple, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for your time, and see you in the next video. Bye.